AITA for explaining to my future SIL why her kids will never receive anything from us? So, I'm 27F. My older brother, 33M, got engaged a couple of months ago to Sarah, 32F, who has two kids from a previous relationship, an 8-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl. Let's call them Leo and Mia. I've met them, they're fine, polite, cute, I guess, but I'm not babysitting them or baking cookies for them, you know? Anyway, we were all at my parents' house for Easter. Just the adults, since the kids were at their dad's that weekend. It was supposed to be chill. Deviled eggs, ham, that weird salad with marshmallows my mom still insists on making. Normal stuff. Then mid-dessert, Sarah goes, "So I think we need to talk about this prenup situation." Everyone froze. Like, forks in the air froze. My brother cleared his throat and was like, "Babe, can we not do this now?" But Sarah was already on one. She looked straight at my parents and me and went, "It's actually kind of urgent because your family has made it very clear that my kids won't be part of any inheritance or assets, and that's just not okay." Y'all, my mom did that tight-lipped smile she does when she's trying not to explode. My dad got up to get more whiskey. My brother looked like he wanted to crawl into the mashed potatoes and die. I said calmly, I thought, "Sarah, this isn't new. We've discussed this before. My brother is free to share his money however he wants, but the family assets, that's staying with blood." She shot back, "Blood? You mean my kids aren't family to you?" I didn't say anything. She kept going. "You all act so nice to them. You smile and bring little gifts, but you've already decided they don't matter, that they'll never be equal." I told her, "They're not equal, not in terms of inheritance. That doesn't mean we hate them." She laughed, one of those dry, sarcastic laughs. "So your kids, who don't even exist yet, already matter more than mine?" "Yes," I said, "because they'll be biologically part of this family. That's how it works." She lost it. Started saying we were cruel, selfish, that we were punishing innocent children, that we were classist, that we were treating her like some gold digger. And I snapped. I told her, "You're acting like your kids are entitled to something from people they barely know. My future kids won't get a dime from your ex's family, right?" She blinked. "Of course not. That's different." "How?" I asked. "How is it different?" Then she went off again about how she thought marriage meant blending families and how my brother was supposed to be their dad now, and I said, "Yeah, their stepdad, not Santa Claus." That's when my mom stepped in, told Sarah that this conversation was over and that she should probably leave if she couldn't respect boundaries. Sarah left. My brother stayed and ate more pie like nothing happened. Then around midnight, I got a text from him. "She's upset, but thank you for saying what I couldn't." Now Sarah sent this long message to the family group chat saying I humiliated her, that I don't care about her children, that I'm selfish and cruel, and that she's reconsidering the wedding. Half the cousins are saying I should have kept my mouth shut. My aunt said I was defending dynasty money like we're on Succession or something. One of my uncles said, "Good riddance if she was just after the money." So, yeah. I told a woman her kids aren't our responsibility and will never see a cent of our inheritance. I was blunt, maybe too blunt. But was I wrong? So after Sarah rage quit Easter and my brother stayed behind like nothing happened, seriously, he went back for a second helping of pie like we didn't just scorch the earth. We all figured things would cool off, like maybe she just needed a night to cry to her mom or scream into a pillow. Nope. The next morning, I woke up to a novel in the family group chat. The message started with, "Since none of you seem to value my presence or my children, I'm going to speak up for myself since clearly no one else will." She then proceeded to recap the Easter meltdown like she was writing a victim impact statement. Claimed I attacked her, demeaned her children, and basically told her she'd always be an outsider. Oh, and she called me a gatekeeping princess of generational wealth, which I don't know whether to be offended or impressed by the vocabulary. She tagged my brother and said, "If this is how your family treats me now, how are they going to treat our future children?" He didn't reply. But guess who did? Freaking cousin Emily. Now Emily, 31F, hasn't even met Sarah. She lives in Portland, sells crystal-infused tea on Etsy, and only shows up to family events when there's an open bar. But suddenly, she's the moral compass of the group. She drops this message like, "Honestly, I think OP's whole attitude is what's wrong with old money families. You think you're better than people just because your grandpa bought real estate before it was cool. Ma'am, our old money is like 2 rental properties in Fresno and my dad's coin collection. We're not exactly the Rockefellers." Anyway, now Emily's fully in Sarah's corner. She starts talking about how when she was dating a guy with kids, she embraced them like her own and how family is chosen, not blood. And I was like, "Cool, did you leave them anything in your will?" She didn't reply. Then my aunt, Sarah's future MEL, jumped in finally. She said something like, "Let's remember that no one owes anyone money. Love doesn't come with a price tag and neither does inheritance." OP might have been harsh, but she's not wrong. That should have ended it, but no. Sarah sends a second message. This time she's doubling down. Says she talked to her kids that morning, Leo and Mia, and told them they might never be real cousins to my future kids because some people don't believe in blended families. My mom nearly threw her phone across the kitchen when she read that. "You don't bring kids into adult drama," she muttered, slicing carrots like they insulted her. Then she says my brother is still thinking about whether the wedding should even happen, and she hopes he takes a long look at the people he's about to legally tie himself to. So now my brother's silence is starting to feel ominous. I texted him like, "Hey, are you okay? Are you actually reconsidering the wedding?" His reply, "Can we talk in person?" I hate that sentence. Nothing good comes after that sentence. So we meet up at this awful little cafe he likes that only serves things in mason jars. He shows up looking like he hasn't slept. No ring on his finger, hair all over the place. He sits down and goes, "She's threatening to call off the wedding unless I talk to mom and dad about the inheritance stuff." I ask him, "Are you going to?" He stares at his coffee like it holds the answers to the universe and mutters, "I don't know." I told him flat out, "If you fold on this, she's gonna hold this over you forever. Next, it'll be, why don't the kids get equal trust funds? Or why didn't your parents co-sign on our house?" This is just the preview. He nods, doesn't say anything. Then he says, "She thinks I don't defend her enough." I go, "Maybe because you don't. You let her burn down Easter dinner and hid behind your pie plate." That got a laugh. A sad one, but still. Then he asks, "Do you think I'm being used?" And honestly, I didn't want to answer that, because if I say yes and he stays with her, I'm the villain. And if I say no and she is using him, then I failed him. So I just shrugged and said, "I think she wants what she wants, and she's not afraid to guilt you into it." He didn't argue. When I got home, my mom was on the phone with my dad. I heard her say, "If she's marrying for money, she picked the wrong family. We don't even have a family crest, for God's sake." And now apparently Sarah wants to have a talk with me. Alone. Not sure if I should go. Okay, so Sarah wanted to have a talk with me one-on-one. My brother texted me saying it might help to clear the air, like we're on some Bravo reunion episode and not actually dealing with real human children and property law. I said yes, mostly out of morbid curiosity. We agreed to meet at this coffee shop near her apartment, one of those places with hanging plants and no laptop zones, because God forbid you try to be productive in a place that sells $8 oat milk lattes. Whatever. She was already there when I arrived. Full face of makeup, big gold earrings, and this blazer that screamed, "I came here to win this argument." I sit down, she smiles like she's doing me a favor by being there. "Thanks for coming," she says, stirring her drink like it's poison. I tell her, "You said you wanted to talk, so talk." She starts off all calm, says she understands where I'm coming from, that family money is sensitive, that I'm just trying to protect what's mine. She even threw in a, "You're a smart woman, I respect that." Which, like, cool. But I'm not a cat that needs petting. Then she shifts gears fast. "But don't you think it's a little cruel to punish kids for something they had no control over?" I said, "No one's punishing anyone. We're just not including them in something they're not part of." She sighs. "That's where we disagree, because they are part of this family. They call your brother Dad. They ask about your parents. Mia drew a picture of your whole family last week and put herself in it." I swear I felt my spine twinge with guilt, but I said nothing. Then she hits me with this. "How do you think it's going to feel for them when your kids are getting family vacations, college funds, property, and they're left out like charity cases?" I snapped back, the same way I felt when my cousin got a BMW from her rich in-laws and I got a Target gift card for graduation. Life isn't fair. Her eyes narrowed. "So you're saying you want them to feel excluded?" "No, I'm saying I'm not changing the rules for them just because you married into the family." Then she leans in, dead serious, and says, "Do you know what kind of damage you're causing? These kids already have one parent who walked out. You want to be the reason they feel like no one wants them again?" I was so stunned I didn't even have a comeback. I just sat there blinking. Then she pulls out this crumpled little drawing. Mia's picture. Stick figures, giant hearts, family, written in rainbow letters. I'm in it. My parents, my brother, her, the kids, even my dog, Peanut. "You're in this," she says, tapping the paper. "She already sees you as family." I didn't know whether to cry or flip the table. I stood up and said, "Sarah, I'm not your enemy. But if you keep trying to guilt us into rewriting our entire family legacy, it's not going to end well for anyone." Then she hits me with her final blow. "If this wedding doesn't happen, it'll be because of you. Just remember that." I left. No hug, no goodbye. Just walked out like I was escaping a bad date. Later that night, my brother called me. "She said you threatened her." I actually laughed. "Dude," she showed me a crayon drawing and called me the emotional villain in her Lifetime movie. He didn't laugh. Then he says, "I'm thinking about postponing the wedding." I sat down on my bed. "Why?" I don't know if we're on the same page about anything. She thinks I'm spineless. My fiance shouldn't think that. I didn't say what I was thinking, which was, she's not wrong. But what I did say was, it's better to find out now than after you put a down payment on a venue. He was quiet. Then, can I crash at your place this weekend? So now he's on my couch, half watching The Office reruns, half reading some Reddit post about step-parent boundaries like it's gonna save his engagement. My parents are pretending not to take sides, but my mom keeps sending me passive-aggressive TikToks about choosing peace over people-pleasing. And Sarah? Radio silence. But I just know she's planning something. Because this drama, it's not over. So I thought things had maybe hit the peak of chaos. You know, big Easter fight, dramatic coffee shop showdown, brother crashing on my couch like a sad frat boy post-breakup. I figured we'd all take a breather. But no, Sarah was just getting started. On Friday night, I'm scrolling Instagram, half watching a Kitchen Nightmares episode where Gordon Ramsay's yelling at a guy named Doug who microwaves lobster. When I get a DM from my cousin Lexi, she sends me a screenshot and just says, "Did you see this?" It's Sarah's Facebook post, public, long, with a pastel background and that dumb, sparkly cursive font. Title, When Your Future In-Laws Don't Accept Your Kids. I'll spare you the whole thing, but the highlight reel went like this. She's heartbroken that some people are still obsessed with bloodlines and inheritance like it's Game of Thrones. Claims her children have been excluded, ignored, and told they aren't real family. Says one particular family member, me, obviously, made it clear they'll never be treated equally. Ends with a line about raising her kids to know their worth even if others won't. She tagged no one, but everyone knew who she was talking about. The comments exploded. A bunch of her friends jumped in. "You're better off without people like that. Cut the toxic ones out, sis. It's 2025, not 1825. Then some mutual acquaintances joined in, all confused like, "Wait, I thought her fiance's family was chill?" One person, I think it was her coworker, even wrote, "If they can't love your kids, they don't deserve you." Then, and this was the real kicker, someone asked, "Is the wedding still on?" And Sarah replied with a heart emoji and a winking face. The group chat went feral. Emily, Crystal T. Etsy cousin, reposted the whole thing to her Instagram stories and added, "This is why boundaries matter." Meanwhile, my mom texted me like I'm the one who posted it. "Mom, did you see what she wrote?" Me, "Yep." "Mom, I've been cordial. I made her gluten-free stuffing. What more does she want from me?" Me, "Apparently your grandkids." "Mom, tell your brother to get his head out of his ass." So I go out to the living room. My brother is still on the couch eating pizza rolls like a man going through a midlife crisis. I show him the post. He stares at it for a full minute. Then he says, "She said she was going to journal about it. I didn't think she meant publicly." I ask, "You still want to marry this woman?" And I swear to God, he shrugs. So I start listing things out for him like I'm his lawyer. "She ambushed you at Easter. She used her kids as leverage. She emotionally blackmailed you and made me the scapegoat. Now she's got people thinking your whole family is a bunch of snobs from a soap opera." And he says, "I kid you not. Yeah, but I love her. Y'all, I love Taco Bell. Doesn't mean I want to marry it and raise its children." I ask him, "What exactly do you love about her? Because right now all I see is someone who plays victim like it's a sport." He says, "She makes me feel needed." I stared at him. "Dude, you can foster a dog if you want to feel needed. You don't have to marry someone who weaponizes crayon drawings." He didn't like that. He got up, said, "You're not helping," and left to go think. Fast forward to Sunday. My brother goes back to Sarah's place, doesn't say a word to me, just texts me. "I'm gonna try and work it out. Don't make this harder." Cool, cool, cool. Love that. Then this morning, Sarah posts a new pic, her and my brother at brunch. He's smiling like he didn't just flee my apartment 12 hours ago. Caption reads, "Working through things with love, patience, and pancakes." Family is love. My mom's response? She emailed me a link to an article titled, "How to Write Someone Out of Your Will Without Drama." No message, no subject line, just vibes. So now my brother's back with her. The wedding is back on. And I guess I'm now the villain in their love story. Part of me wants to go full scorched earth and post my side publicly. But another part of me just wants to sit back and wait. Because Sarah, she's not done. I can feel it. So yeah, the wedding was back on. Just like that. Like Sarah didn't blow up the group chat, publicly drag us online, and emotionally blackmail my brother with her kids' doodles. And get this, 2 weeks later, I get the invite. The actual physical invite. Glossy and pastel and nauseating, with gold lettering that says, "Celebrate the blending of our beautiful families." Blending. Like we're fruit smoothies. I put it on my fridge next to my expired IKEA coupons and stared at it for 3 days like it was a threat. because going meant one of two things: smile, pretend none of the chaos happened, and eat tiny salmon rolls while Sarah smirks like she won. Start a war during the father-daughter dance. Spoiler, I did neither. The morning of the wedding, I called my mom. Not going, I said. She sighed. Do you really want to do this? I told her, I didn't do anything, that's the whole point. Silence. Then she said, you know your brother's not strong. He's loyal to whoever's loudest. And that hit way harder than I expected. I asked her, are you going? She paused. Your father has high blood pressure. I don't need Sarah turning it into a courtroom again. We're sending a gift. And that was that. Later that day, I went to Target, bought a blender. One of those big heavy ones that can crush ice and make soup. Slapped a note on it that said, here's to your blended family, handle with care. OP petty? Maybe. But she started the metaphor. My brother didn't reply. Sarah posted a story of them cutting a 3-tier cake with a caption, when the love is real, no outside noise can ruin it. She didn't tag me, but she didn't have to. The fallout came in waves. Cousin Emily blocked me on Instagram. Lexi texted low-key iconic about the blender but then backpedaled and said she's neutral in the drama. Sarah's mom sent my mom a Facebook message that said, it's a shame some people can't be happy for others, but not everyone's raised with love. To which my mom replied, you're right, some people are raised with entitlement. Savage. My brother hasn't spoken to me since. Not one word. I saw photos later. Sarah's kids were dressed like flower angels or whatever. They looked happy. I hope they were, because none of this was their fault. And maybe that's the real tragedy here. I stood my ground, yeah. But did I scorch it in the process? Also, yeah. Because here's the thing. I was never against the kids. I was against the manipulation. Against Sarah twisting my brother into some cash machine and framing me as the monster when I refused to enable it. But still, I look at that blender sometimes. Yeah, I got myself one too. And I wonder, was I right? Or was I just louder? Because now I don't have a relationship with my brother. And Sarah? She got what she wanted. A wedding, a family, a win. And me? I got a blender. Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, hit subscribe. See you in the next one.